Welcome to Lifestyle Profiles. I'm Wendy McGowan Ellis, and this week our guest is City Councilman Bill Woodard. Bill, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
You know how this starts. Tell us your background. How did you get to Frisco?
I've actually been in the banking industry for over 20 years. And about 15 years ago, almost 16 years ago now, my employer moved me out to the Dallas area. And when I was looking around, I was looking for the best school district for my then kindergartner, and obviously ran across Frisco. So I moved to Frisco, loved it here. Haven't been anywhere else since. Same house for the last 15 years. And that now kindergartner is starting his senior year in college up at the University of Arkansas. So it's been a fun 15 years.
That's awesome. So I know that you've been involved in civic responsibilities and civic duties here in Frisco for a while. Tell us your journey to City Council. How did that progress for you?
I've always been involved in my community, no matter where I've lived. Whether that was Las Vegas or Sacramento, or then when I moved to Frisco. One of the first things I did was get involved with my homeowners association. And then, 15 years ago, back when newspapers were still a thing, I was reading through the newspaper one day and saw an announcement for a town hall meeting in Frisco. I said, well, I don't have anything going on. Let me go to that. And I was actually kind of amazed because I was able to meet, at the time, Mayor Mike Simpson and several of the other councilmen at that town hall, which is not something that you could do in a bigger city like a Sacramento or Las Vegas. So after that, I started attending a variety of meetings and getting involved, just getting to know everybody. And then I guess it was around 2010, I had the opportunity to chair the Mayor Masso's 2010 Complete Count Census Committee, and kept involved in a little bit more and a little bit more, and chaired a few other things, was on planning and zoning for a while, and now here I am. So again, it's been one of those journeys. It's just kind of one step at a time, a little more involvement with each one of those, and just enjoying working with the citizens and my fellow residents and neighbors.
Wonderful. So I know that planning and zoning works very closely with Parks and Rec. Is there anything that you can tell us that's upcoming for new Frisco trails, hike and bike areas? Like, what is that Grand Park? If you can spill anything on that, what's going on right now?
In the last 12 months, we've actually finished a revision to our hike and bike master plan, which is really exactly what it is. It kind of lays out where we want to see all the different trails throughout the city and where we want to see all these different connections. So as development comes in, particularly in the northern part of the city where we still have a lot of empty land, developers know where we want to see those trails so that we can work with them to put those in. In some cases, I've sat down with our city staff and we've identified some infill areas, kind of low-hanging fruit where we can get some small connections made that ultimately, lead to much larger connections. I think one of the most interesting trails that you're going to see here in the very near future is a hike and bike trail that will lead from Teal over to Future Legacy Parkway on the south edge of the PGA golf courses. I believe it's just a little bit over 3 miles right now in length. And once that opens at some point in the not too distant future, I think it's going to provide a really great connection for the residents. I think they'll really enjoy that out there with that property. We've got some other connections that are opening up in the very near future. In fact, I'll take this as an opportunity to plug our Roll with Council ride in August. We're going to be taking a trip from Bacchus down to just south of Limestone Quarry Park and opening up the Six City Trails, which will connect Frisco to Plano underneath 121. So that's kind of an exciting item for me because that's been something that we've been working on for 2 or 3 years now to get that finished up. To answer your question about Grand Park, yes, we're still trying to move forward with that as quickly as possible. I think, as everybody knows, There's some environmental concerns that we've got to deal with TCEQ and some contamination from the old Exide property. So we're still trying to work through some of those issues. Unfortunately, we've got to work with some other agencies at the state and federal level on those, and that tends to slow things down a little bit.
So you mentioned role with the council. I know you are an avid cyclist. Tell us how you got into that as a hobby.
I guess that goes back to probably when I was in elementary school. I just, I enjoyed the freedom of being out riding my bike. And then it was sometime back in I guess it was around 2007 time frame. I was not very active at the time. I was quite out of shape and wanted to get into a better fitness routine. So one of the things I did was grab a bike and I just started riding. And it was fun to kind of experience that freedom again that you experienced as a kid, to be out and, just where you can go in a short amount of time under your own power. Kind of took off from there. I joined a couple of local cycling clubs, got into riding with some of the groups, and then actually got back into mountain biking a couple of years after that, which is fun because, again, you're in amongst the trees and in nature, and just the ups and the downs and the turns, and it kind of makes you feel like a kid again.
I love that. So, how can our citizens, our audience, get involved with the city as a volunteer or just to learn more about the community and help support you as a city councilman? And also, how can people connect directly with you?
The ways to be involved are numerous. It could be as simple as watching the council meetings and providing comment on agenda items. We love to get those emails, with commentary. We don't always get them, but we do love to see them when we do. We have programs like our Citizens Police Academy, Citizens Fire Academy, and City Hall 101 that folks can attend to learn more about the city operations. Those may be on hiatus right now, given the current COVID situation, but as we find ways to make those happen again, those are great avenues. For the next couple of days, I think until Friday, we have applications for our boards and commissions open. So if anybody is interested and wants to apply for those, that's certainly a way to get involved. And then, we have countless numbers of not-for-profit agencies around, community organizations that do huge amounts of good in the community. Everything from Boys and Girls Club, Frisco Family Services, Frisco Fast Packs and Love Packs are just, a handful that I can think of off the top of my head that are involved daily in our community. And those organizations are always looking for ways to help. So I think it's not a matter of opportunities. We certainly have the opportunities available. I think it's just finding that opportunity that's right for a resident and them, running with it from there.
Thank you, Bill, so much for promoting those nonprofits. And for those of you who are looking for a relatively comprehensive list, I'm going to do a shameless plug for giveforfrisco.com, to where you can see almost 100 different nonprofits that we at Lifestyle Frisco are helping to support. And they are all giving back to Collin and Denton County. So all of those nonprofits are very active in our community. Thank you, Bill, so much for mentioning that. So cycling around the city, be on the lookout for Mr. Bill Woodard. Bill, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate everything that you do to make our city better.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.